Yeah, hi. All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about WWE's holiday schedule, upcoming holiday schedule for their tapings or their shows in general. A lot of people think I'm an asshole, even though I think I have the tendency to already sound like an asshole, unless you actually know me in real life. Listen, I'm not trying to sound like an asshole. I'm just trying to sound realistic and in a sense reasonable and understanding of how if you're a showman, like how things should be, especially when accompanying WWE, it's a weekly episodic type of show. Even though sadly their shows are not like episodic as they used to be. I'm trying to be like reasonable in terms of like how does it make sense to do certain things of their timing for like the shows. You know what I mean? So WWE, obviously the holidays are coming up. There are times to celebrate, lay back, be with your loved ones, with families that we have, and yeah, maybe you should be given time off, right? This is not me saying wrestlers should not have time off. By the way, I'm not saying that. It's just like I just think my big problem is the way they format their shows is the problem, and that's what, if anything, it makes it harder for everybody, the people who want to watch these shows and try to enjoy some wrestling, and just the performers themselves. Okay, so for some reason, WWE taped a Raw last week that will be airing this coming Monday. So by the time this video is recorded, it's on the 17th of November on a Sunday. They already have a taped Raw for the 18th of November. They have a taped Raw for that Raw. Even though, so yeah, like the reason why is because they're gonna get the holiday off or Thanksgiving off. Hello? Thanksgiving is next week, you dumb motherfuckers! So it's like, it makes no sense. Like, why are they taping a show if the show is again next week, if the holiday's next week? You know what I mean? Like, how does it make any sense to do a holiday off, a taped Raw, when literally the holidays the other week, and you're trying to have more time for these wrestlers to be with their families? Won't it make sense that on the week of they're with their families that you do the tape show for the other week? Just saying, because they're already planning that for Smack. So here's the plans, here's the schedule, and let's talk about it. I'm assuming the Thanksgiving off. They already have the taped Raw happening, but again, it's the week prior to the Raw before Thanksgiving, which makes no sense, but that show is live. I don't get it. The 29th of November will be taped the week prior for Smackdown. So this coming Smackdown, which is on the 22nd, they're going to be taping the Smackdown for the next week, even though that show is the go-home show for freaking Survivor Series. And again, that makes, like, I just think this is the problem with WWE. Like, where you have yourself in a little crossroads there. If you for some reason want to give you wrestlers a holiday off, why are you doing a pay-per-view like after after Thanksgiving, right? Or why are you doing a pay-per-view regardless, like Thanksgiving? I understand, like, this is like the thing, like November, but this is why I don't get like old school, like back in the day, like November the Survivor Series was always a pay-per-view devoted to Thanksgiving. Right? It always was like Thanksgiving tradition for WWE, where it would be before Thanksgiving on the Sunday, but they were actually doing Thanksgiving Survivor Series on Thanksgiving night, actually. So, which goes to show, like, man, how times have changed, where like WWE urge the quality of, that's the thing, the urge of quality is no longer there with WWE. It's like they're like more lazy, but like why are they being lazy? Like nowadays, I don't get it. Whatever. I don't know. I understand these wrestlers work hard. I get it. But, like, have they worked really hard compared to the wrestlers back in the day? I don't think so. So, like, why even give them the Friday off when, again, this is why I just have to look at this. First of all, they've been doing live Smackdowns after Thanksgiving for a while now. Why, for some reason, they're doing a tape show on a Friday? Like, this is the thing. You have people who go out to have to work the Friday after Thanksgiving. Okay? but then they could get the day off. Like, I mean, won't it make sense? And again, it's just like this thing, the holiday time. How does it make sense for business? Like, there's gonna be people wanting to go to a wrestling show around the holidays. You know, won't it make sense to like they'll be off? Like, why you can't have these wrestlers take a break from the Tuesday to the Thursdays, and then you have those Friday and Saturday, like, you know, they'll be working those days, and then you can have them take a break till Monday. Again, it's not like these holidays, like Christmas and Thanksgiving, is happening on a Monday or a Friday, you know, when they have shows. And who really cares about mentioning NXT at this point, by the way? So, again, it makes kind of no sense. Like, why not have them just have the break on, like, you know, from the Tuesday to the Thursdays? And again, that's also WWE's fault for even doing a pay-per-view on the Saturday. While I don't really mind them doing a pay-per-view after Thanksgiving, I kind of embrace that idea, which I think is pretty cool. But again, it helps for business, and it's kind of cool. But again, why not give these wrestlers, again, those few days off from Tuesday to the Thursday, and then, again, they'll be off on the Sunday. Again, this is why I do think I'm a favor of the idea of they no longer doing live shows, live event shows, because there's no point for them when you have a Monday Night on Friday Smackdown. It's just my opinion. But again, like, pre-taping a show, it just makes no sense how the schedule is too, in my honest opinion. I get it, they want to pre-tape a show because on the Friday for like maybe, but again, you're doing a pay-per-view that week. Why, if you're not doing pay-per-view, like, how are people going to care about the show? It just makes no sense, in my opinion. It hurts the quality. I just think the quality is declining with WWE. I get it. Tape shows have been around. It's been around in the Attitude Era, but that's when the internet was not as big as it used to be, and there was like more quality back in the day, you know? Now just like seemingly less quality. And it's not like these wrestlers are really overworked. Let's be honest with ourselves. I'm not saying these wrestlers are like, they're like don't work hard. They do, but have they really worked hard as like the wrestlers back in the day? That's why a lot of people say a lot of these wrestlers are fucking soft. You know, I kind of agree. A lot of these wrestlers are soft compared to the wrestlers back in the day. It's so much easier to become like a wrestler now. And they barely even put in the work to look like or act like a wrestler. Why the hell are they entitled to have to actually be off, like, and you're pre-taping shows so they can, like, I understand, like, yes, be with their families, but they can still have the Thanksgiving off and they can do the Friday Night Smackdown. How does that sounds like a bad person to say? It's just about, again, that's the price you do for signing up to be a showman, first of all. And let's talk about Christmas. So, for Christmas, they're pre-taping the Smackdown. What the fuck? They're pre-taping the 20th December Smackdown on the week prior with the 13th. And they're pre-taping the 23rd of December episode of Raw the week prior on the 16th. My solution to that, like, instead of them pre-taping shows, why not, I don't know, make those shows recap shows, or not just that, like, yeah, like, maybe make one of those shows exclusive to be, like, tribute to the troops, make it like a tribute to troops type of show, like how they used to do back in the day, and that could easily be, like, a pre-taped show. But again, like, my thing is, those shows are not even happening on Christmas Day. I understand why people complained about Vince McMahon having Christmas during the Christmas Raw during the holidays a few years ago. But again, they stopped doing that when people complained and whatever. But again, there should be an urge. Like, if WWE was good, then they would have the urge to try to be a best show possible. But again, this is an opportunity. If you're like, first of all, these episodes of Raw and SmackDown are not even happening on Christmas. So why are they pre-taping shows? Like, there's people that go to work on those days. It's not like it's holidays, The holidays on the 24th to 25th, and sometimes the 26th. Like, unless your show's, like, there's no reason to not do a Raw and SmackDown before Christmas. Just saying. And basically, you can make those shows, like, an opportunity to make them shows big, like Christmas before, Raw before Christmas. Like, you can do, like, title matches, big events, like, make them, like, pay-per-view-esque type of shows, like Saturday Night Main Event. Make them, like, the same quality. Make them must-see. But no, we're going to do a pre-tape a show, it's going to be lame, bunch of matches, no reason, no stories, and blah, blah, blah. You see, this is not me trying to sound like a bad guy. Okay, it's just like, I'm trying to be reasonable and actually have some sense. It's not like WWE They're doing fucking. They're like having all these shows at like every day. You know, they have like really just 2 shows a week, and sometimes live events to make them. But again, that's why you don't really do live events. But here's my problem. Like, here's the thing. The problem is they're doing a holiday tour. How about instead of that, that's where you have the wrestlers take a break? Like, why are you doing a holiday tour? That's also like the stupid thing about WWE is like, you're doing a Raw and Smackdown, you're doing a pre-tape show, but yet like right after the holidays, you're doing a holiday tour. I understand that's been a shtick with WWE for a long time now. Like they always apparently they always have done a Christmas after Christmas Madison Square Garden show. I mean, but the thing is, again, isn't that costing family wrestlers time with their families? So like all these people this whole controversy lately about isn't that something people should be talking about? Like, why are you forcing these wrestlers to wrestle again? A live event show after Christmas. Like, shouldn't that around that time they be with their families? Like, this is what I think should happen. There's no reason for pre-taping the 20th episode of Smackdown and the 23rd episode of Raw when they should be live. And heck, maybe one of those shows should be happening at Madison Square Garden. And then until the 23rd, the wrestlers are taking a break. They're on holiday off up until I think the 27th of Raw, like the 27th episode. The Smackdown could be like a recap show. Like, again, if you're not gonna do a show, do a recap or something. Rather than there's no reason for those shows to not be live and be an exciting time before Christmas where you try to make those shows exciting. Not that I'm saying that WWE nowadays is exciting, but they should be an opportunity. If WWE had some sense, they should try to make those shows very exciting and must see right before Christmas. You know what I mean? And in the 27th episode of Raw, where for December, like the last Raw legit before the new year, and they're going to Netflix, that should be a really big show they should do. Same thing with freaking the January episode, like the first Smackdown of 2025. They should make that show like New Year's Revolution type of shit. Should be freaking exciting. Again, I'm just trying to be reasonable, what makes sense, in terms of how they schedule things. First of all, again, why schedule pay-per-view during the holidays if you're gonna have shit like this happening? But again, why are people again? It just makes no sense in terms of how they schedule things. Like, they kind of put themselves in the crossroads. Like, again, you're doing a taped Raw where the wrestlers are gonna be off, but they have to be back again on the same week when there's the holiday. That makes no sense to me. And then you're pre-taping the Smackdown, even though you always had live Smackdowns before, whatever. I mean, I would say maybe just don't do the pay-per-view, or don't do the pay-per-view on the same week, or do it for the Sunday or something. You gotta make these make some sense. I don't know. I'm not saying Survivor Series should be ending. Of course, Survivor Series should always be a thing. But it's what's wrong with having the wrestlers being off certain days of that week, and then you can still do Raw and the Smackdown, the pay-per-view, and then they'll be off the Saturday and Sunday, and then the Monday you'll be back. Maybe that show could be, I don't know, something. And then the Christmas schedule, why do they need to really pre-tape the fucking Raw and the Smackdown show? Before Christmas, or after Christmas, again, really before Christmas, when again they could be still live. It's not like the holidays are happening on those shows, on those days. The holidays happening on the 24th and 25th. And why even do a holiday tour even after? That's just my solution, idea. Maybe cancel the holiday tours from now on, because there's really no reason to do holiday tours. Because again, maybe for people that are saying this the reason why I'm making this video, first of all, is because there's been an argument over the internet, why are they pre-taping shows? There's been an argument now between fans who are supporting this schedule and people who don't or are confused. I'm not trying to sound like a bad guy. I understand we are all human. We deserve a break from work, and I agree. But it's got to make sense in terms of the scheduling. You know what I mean? I just think that there's really no reason, especially when you're signing up for a job like this. Again, that's the price you kind of pay. But at the end of the day, it's not they're being forced to do it. But again, what they should have done, again, the holiday schedule, and I'm not talking about really for Christmas, is there really any reason to pre-tape those shows? And like, why couldn't they just be live? And then you have those wrestlers actually be off from the 24th to the 25th, 26th, and then the 27th. Again, it's not like they're really off. They're still, unfortunately, going to be forced to work. And then, like, again, the 27th, I think, is the day, like, the Raw, their last Raw, it was going to be live, the last Raw 2024, and the last Raw before Netflix. Like, they should really be, like, trying to producing some quality shows. Or at least try to be a good show, for God's sakes. Listen, like, it's not like fucking WWE's must-see anymore, I get it. But at the end of the day, it's just like, you really gotta try to be good, or it's gotta make sense for the schedule. If anything, I'm kind of also speaking for the wrestlers themselves, because, like, how does it make any sense? Like, you're gonna give these wrestlers a little bit of off, but then you're gonna force them to work right after Christmas. Won't it make sense you have them a bit off right before Christmas, a little bit after, and they get back to work literally for Monday Night Raw on the 27th of December? Just saying. And then, like, for the New Year's off, you can have them be... I mean, New Year's is not really a holiday that's, like, celebrated. I mean, it's really just a one day off, really, right? But, like, I don't know. Like, I guess, like, a one day off is fine, whatever, around that. But then